for this one, we're going to combine what we did with this, but we're going to combine it to make it a little bit more challenging. So take your paper, fold it in half, and fold it in half again so we can get that checkerboard. And then one more time. And take this and fold to that middle line. And then one more time. And that's going to give you your 8th row. Now we're going to do the same thing, this in the opposite direction. So we can start off with a checkerboard that's even. Fold that in half to the middle, and then fold that in half in the middle again. Fold that in half in the middle, and then fold that in half in the middle again. Okay. Now, this part right here gets a little tricky because I have my ruler and my pencil. We are going to draw these lines, but again, I'm going to erase most of them. So make sure that you don't draw these lines dark. So go ahead and draw in that checkerboard. It's always hard for me to find my folds a little bit with the glare. Do the best you can. And remember, I'm doing this lightly because I'm going to erase most of these lines. Excuse me. Just trying to find my folds. There's such a glare, sometimes it's hard for me to see them. Okay, so now I have my checkerboard drawn, right? Now I want for you to think of this in terms of quadrants, just like we did on another one. So even if you have to take it and fold it in half like this, that's fine, like whatever's the easiest for you. But I want for you to think of it in terms of quadrants. So I'm going to draw a circle, okay, in this top quadrant here. And again, you can hand draw the circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine's going to go off the edge just a little bit, but it has to stay in that quadrant of the 4. It cannot overlap. And then I'm going to do the same thing in this quadrant, this little section right here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of measuring it so that I've got it like this. Now it's okay if you hand draw this because that will be fine. This is just practice, right? So I've got 3 drawn, and then I'm going to do 4. I'm trying for my circles not to overlap, and then this is what I have here. Okay. Now, this is where it can get a little confusing, so you have to try to be patient with it when you're looking at it, right? Again, think of it in a quadrant because we have our checkerboard in the background, but we have these circles here. And this is where it's like a little confusing. So erase your lines inside of your circles. Okay, remember I said to draw lightly because you're going to erase those. Okay. Now, we're going to, again, look at each quadrant. So this point and this point here where they converge is now going to become curved, just like we did on our last one, okay? Try to curve that the best you can, right? This is the middle, so I guess we could have kept that there. This one here from edge to edge, again, curved a little bit. This one in the middle, I guess we could have kept that there. Here to here, curved. Here to here, curved, okay? And you're gonna do that with all of your spheres. Whoops. Just like we did on our last one. Make sure they're curving. It's kind of hard to see my curve. Okay, so this is where it changes just a little bit, okay? So you have these lines drawn. We've drawn our circles, we've curved it. Make sure you have those in. And this is where that trick comes in. Remember on this one, where this was white, this will become black and it would create that illusion. But for this one, it's going to be a little different. So follow with this part. So here, where this square is and this circle, that is now the shape of that. So what you're gonna do is go through and erase that outside edge of your circle. I knew that seems confusing, but the reason you do that, and I'm gonna draw it in marker so you can see it a little bit better, is you will get now this shape for your box, okay? So that is that box. Remember that line there for the circle no longer exists. That is that box. This is that box. And that is that one, okay? So you can, like these lines in the middle are gonna stay. Once you get the hang of this, you'll really get it, okay? Because remember, we're not including that outside edge of the circle. So this, you just completely ignore that outside edge of the circle. Okay, so that's one. See how that circle line was there, but I've ignored it, I've erased it. So I'm gonna do it on this one, but I'm not gonna erase the line so you can still see it. So I have this is now the shape of that block. And this is now the shape of that block. And this is now the shape of that one. So do you see how I'm still looking at those folds, but I'm not drawing that circle, that outside edge of my circle? You have to really think about it, but once you get it, you get it, right? That stays the same. That stays the same. But look, there's that outside circle. I don't draw it. Here's this line. There's that outside circle, so I don't draw it. Look at it as one section at a time. There's that outside curve. I don't draw it. Okay? So that's what I have there. And now I'm going to come here. There's that outside edge. I don't draw it. I'm just leaving that outside edge. It's like it doesn't exist. This is the hardest part. You really have to think about it, so you don't draw that outside circle. And if you do draw the outside circle, it's okay. You can just outline it, right? We'll move on, but that looks, both of them are going to create an optical illusion, but this one will be slightly different. So again, not that circle. You trace all your lines except for that outside edge of your circle. Okay, so now I have that in, and you can go ahead and erase, if you didn't already erase all your outside edges of your circle. Like I said, if you messed up, just outline the circles and do a pattern like this. It's still going to look very, very cool. But now you do alternating. Black, white, black, white. Black. Here, I'm going to do it with pencil. Black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white. Black, white, black, white, black, white, black. So that you have every other one, just like we've done on all of our other ones. And remember, it's important that you look at it this way and you get it all marked out. And I recommend erasing those X's before you color them in, because once you've sealed them in, they're there. And I'll look at that shape, and that's black. This is my next one. And remember, I'm looking at each shape, not the overall, so it will be less confusing. And I'm just following that shape that was already there. I'm not trying to change it. I'm just filling in my blocks of color. And the smaller your squares are, like if I took these and divided them in half even one more time, the more your illusion is really going to stand out and pop. You can see now why it's important that we mark them first so that we don't make a mistake. I'm just following that contour, that shape that we drew. I'm using a 80-pound weight paper, and sometimes the texture or the tooth of the paper will dry your Sharpie out a little bit. You just need to take it and rest, let it rest. Doesn't happen as much with copy paper or notebook paper. They're a thinner weight. Again, I'm not trying to change the shape that I had drawn. I'm sticking with that odd shape. Boom. There you go.